Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price this Friday. As we're heading to the weekend where the markets are the most manipulated due to CME futures being closed with today's candle high at 56,100. But we do have a bearish tail, and yesterday we did see a red daily candle. There's a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about what we've been monitoring over the last few weeks, like Bitcoin dominance crossing above the 20-week moving average for the first time since January of 2021 when altcoin season started. Of course, we did see a rejection so far, and that's totally garden variety market behavior. But the question is, how is this going to affect the macro environment, and is Bitcoin dominance going to continue to the upside? Because if that happens, that assumes that the total cryptocurrency market cap is coming down, and we're seeing fear in the market, and we're seeing institutions hedge away their altcoins back into Bitcoin. So the question is, are we going to be seeing this rejection for this total cryptocurrency market cap chart into this weekend and some potential downside? There's a lot to talk about today. You guys are watching the Snipers channel. Let's first dive into this Bitcoin intraday analysis. And I want to talk about Ethereum because we may see Ethereum push to the upside if Bitcoin stays in this higher range and does not necessarily see a massive dump over the next 24 hours, with Ethereum at 3630 already coming above 3650. This is going to be a huge part of this video. But let's first talk about Bitcoin. Let's go into the 6-hour chart. First and foremost, we know there's a bearish tail right now with this Bitcoin daily chart, but obviously the daily candle has yet to close. We have 9 hours left. The question is, now that we're forming these higher highs, that's typically considered a bearish flag, and these more than likely will break down. But because we've seen the upside momentum above 49,700, the question is, are we going to be able to come and test 58,353 before that happens? Well, on the 6-hour chart, we're seeing descending buy volume right now. That's a big puzzle piece. And if we were to actually just open this chart up a little bit more, notice how we've yet to see the type of intensity of buy pressure to match the sell pressure that brought us down from 53,000. That's what we've been watching here in the Snipers channel. That tells me that at any point in time, this move could push to the downside to retest the structural support, which was previous resistance sitting just at that $49,700 level. And if we were to just kind of talk about the candles that we have right now with this descending buy pressure, it does look like Bitcoin wants to just kind of consolidate and range inside of this range, I would say, of a candle low here of 53,350 with the candle high at 56,100. And I believe if Bitcoin's able to stay in this range, there's a potential we could see Ethereum finally push above 3650 towards 3959, pretty much 4,000 US dollars. And that is all going to have to do with whether or not we're going to be able to stay in this range for Bitcoin. And so I want to first look at what's happening here on the 3-hour chart before we go into the smaller time frames. And notice here on the 3-hour chart, we are maintaining this ascending support level so far. We haven't actually even tested it yet. So we do have some breathing room for Bitcoin to even see some further downside towards 53,900 before potentially seeing some more buy pressure to the upside. And then if we look at a more macro, I wouldn't say it's extremely macro, I would say this is more of a medium term support level. We do have this support that kind of started at 40,000 US dollars. It got tested when we came down to 47,000 US dollars. And now we've yet to even come and test this level. So with Bitcoin really having the opportunity to range between 49,700 and 58,300, the question is, how are altcoins going to perform? I think that when it comes to Ethereum, that would probably be the best bet. If Bitcoin isn't going to see major downside, there's that potential we could be seeing Ethereum move to the upside. And then if we go into the 15-minute chart, I want you guys to see the retail pressure that we're seeing right now with Bitcoin tells me that after we saw this $1.3 billion Bitcoin purchase from an unknown buyer on October 6th, if we were to remove this price action from the chart so that we can really get an idea of what the true volume has been since that move, notice how we've seen these spikes of sell pressure, and we've finally seen some buy pressure from retail, and that allowed Bitcoin to form a new daily high compared to what it did yesterday. But we're still seeing the ground of retail volume sort of fertile here with sellers more than buyers. And the reason I say that is notice how these little pockets of volume keep coming in, and they're always sell volume, not necessarily buy volume. And that tells me that there are certainly retail investors selling in this range. And so the real question is, are the institutions going to want to just drive price up if people are selling at this range, or are they going to want to even just drive price down at this point to kind of get some more accumulation into the lower price ranges? I think that we're really in a 50-50, being in the midpoint of this channel. But what that tells me is that there's still potential altcoins could see some upside while Bitcoin is consolidating. And for those inside of our Discord group, we actually took 3 day trades today for Avalanche, Reserve Rights Token, and AR USDT. All of them have hit profit targets. And so there's obviously some momentum in the market. And for those that are in the crypto chat, we've been getting a lot of participation with charts being posted almost every single minute. We have the best community in this whole market. If you're not in our Discord, the link is in the description below. This tells me that there are a lot of people really undecided right now with where price action is going to potentially go. And that is obviously always going to be how this market plays its game. The markets will always do what we least expect. So I think that being in this sensitive area, we have to be open to shorts at some point or another. But with Ethereum showing strength and with all of these daily candles closing green, I think that before we see a major push to the downside, there is still a potential right now. Ethereum could drive itself to the upside. And a lot of this is going to have to do with what happens to the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. But just to understand what the next price target for Ethereum would be, 39.59 is the next level of resistance. But remember, there's always going to be some sort of pressure at the midpoint of these ranges, especially if it's a large range. And so I'm kind of eyeing this $3,800 level as well as a potential level where if we break decisively above 36.50 with hourly and 4-hour candles, there's that potential 3,800 comes on the table. And what's interesting about that is if we actually just measure the amount of percentage from 3650 to 3800, it's about a 4% push to the upside for Ethereum. And when we go into the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, notice how 65,000 Satoshis has already broke, but we're back above it. And that's totally fine. It's a major support level. And the monthly open is sitting right at 69,000 Satoshis. From the current price to where this monthly open is, it's sitting at about a 3% range. The weekly open is sitting right around that 6% range. So I think that maybe a 4 to 5, maybe 6% push to the upside for Ethereum could be the last breath if Bitcoin doesn't continue to see upside and only consolidates between 56,100 and that 53,500-ish level. So we really want to be careful with shorting Ethereum. Of course, once again, for those in the Discord, we took 2 shorts on Ethereum so far. They've both hit targets. The last short we took was when Ethereum first tested 3570, and that ended up actually hitting all targets to 34.99. We took this trade on the 6th of October. We have the best trade signals in this market, not just the best Discord, but the best trade signals. And the real question is, where's the money play going to be, the money short? Because when you're shorting, typically when price action comes to the downside, it takes the elevator. Notice how that happened when we came back down below 4,000. So there's a lot of money in shorting. You want to be in and out of those positions. The question is, are they just going to drive price up to the midpoint of this range before seeing that money play, that money short? For those in the Discord, you're definitely going to get that signal when it comes. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but it's certainly possible. That's what markets like to do. They like to bring price to a level that makes traders kind of feel undecided before taking it to the actual destination. And so I think that at this point, shorting Ethereum in the range of 3650 is going to be very dangerous with this sort of ascending triangle formation here, with us having a cup of coffee at this market structural resistance at 3,600, that tells me it's not the final destination. And since Bitcoin has already moved to the upside, why wouldn't Ethereum push up at this point? The question is, where is it going to end? And that's what we're going to be monitoring here. Now, a lot of people are saying, do you think that the cryptocurrency market could see some new all-time highs? I think that we're going to get that answer here real soon. Over the last 2 weeks here on the Sniper channel, we've been very cautious about the cryptocurrency market seeing this push to the upside because the S&P 500 for the first time since October of 2020 came below its 20-week moving average, but we are now back above it. But we're not seeing strength yet. We haven't gotten to this previous weekly open. So I'm going to talk more about these revolving parts that are the reason of concern that we've had here on the Cypress channel, especially the DXY pushing up above 93.82. That's why we've been so cautious. But because the S&P 500 now is back above its 20-week moving average, it gives a little bit of breathing room for the cryptocurrency market into this weekend. But we have to realize that the move has already happened. And with the total market cap, we've yet to see the move below the 20-week moving average. And so that's why I've been so concerned. Now, are we going to be seeing new all-time highs? Well, the reason we'll get that answer here real soon is the total market cap is testing a major resistance. And at some point or another, we're either going to break above this, form new all-time highs for the total market cap, or break down. The reason we've also been cautious over the last 2 weeks is because Bitcoin dominance just came back above its 20-week moving average for the first time since January. Now, when there's price action, there's always a narrative attached to that price action. And I've been saying that the only reason I would expect Bitcoin dominance to move up is because Bitcoin acts like gold in this market. If you guys listen to Kathy Wood, she's a big preacher of this. In a bear market, we'll see altcoins hedge into Bitcoin because it acts like gold, right? A storage of value. When there's fear in the market, Bitcoin is the safe haven asset. So if Bitcoin dominance is moving up, and if we get a confirmation of this moving up even further, then why would the total cryptocurrency market cap increase? I don't see that happening because the total market cap is increasing, then I would expect altcoins to also do well. So that's also another reason of concern that we've had on this channel. I think it's important to always address both sides, the bears and the bulls, and be the umpire. So into this weekend, I talked about this yesterday, the biggest parts of the revolving aspects of this market that we're going to be monitoring is the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart as a leading indicator for altcoins. If we come up and test this monthly or even the weekly open, where we also have confluence with the previous weekly open, is there going to be a rejection? If we see a rejection and at any point in time we come below 65,000 Satoshis, that's a major concern for the total cryptocurrency market cap and altcoins. Now, the other aspect of the market that we need to monitor is Bitcoin dominance, of course. How is this going to move now that it's tested the 20-week moving average for the first time? It's the only candle that's come up and tested it so far. So the fact that we're below it is not a big deal this week. We need to give this a little bit more time to mature, which is why it's going to be important to monitor. Of course, we'll continue to do that here for those tuned into the Cypress channel. And then, of course, what's happening now that Bitcoin dominance is moving up? The altcoins outside of Bitcoin, this chart factors in every altcoin except Ethereum and USDT, of course. And then, of course, it doesn't factor in Bitcoin. This is a real indicator of the altcoin market. It's also coming down below the 20-week moving average and already testing it. Is this going to break down? We're going to be monitoring this, but Bitcoin dominance will give us a better idea of what's happening to this chart. So it's not necessarily the most important one to monitor, but realize we came and tested the 100-day moving average for the first time since August. And August was when we pushed up into September. That was the lower high that we've formed for a lot of altcoins like the Binance coin, Cardano, Ethereum. And so this was when I said altcoin season may be done. And that was correct so far because Bitcoin dominance moved above its 20-week moving average. This is an extremely important aspect of the market, but it's going to be primarily influenced by Bitcoin dominance, which is why Bitcoin dominance is really what we need to monitor. And then, of course, Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, and then the total market cap. And then when it comes to the revolving parts, because this channel is a 4-dimensional channel, unlike every other analyst that just covers one aspect of the market, these markets are all correlated. We've seen that time and time again in 2017, 2018, and in 2020, in March, we saw what happened when traditional markets fell down. The DXY still above 93.82. This is a concerning range for the cryptocurrency market and traditional markets, which is actually why the S&P 500 came down below its 20-week moving average of the DXY strengthening. This is the strength of the dollar. These are all revolving parts that really need to be carefully watched over the next few days. S&P 500, once again, if we can get above this previous weekly open at 4,446 or 446 for SPY, that to me is going to be a big relief for the cryptocurrency market. But so far, we're still below the 50-day moving average. We've already rejected it once, came below the 100-day moving average. Question is, what is this telling us in the macro? So far, it's saying that the duck is in a downtrend, right? If it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, 8 out of 10 times it's a duck. But there's those 2 times that the rug get pulled and things turn out differently. But so far it's a duck, and we're in this descending parallel channel. We really want to be monitoring this S&P 500 because seeing more downside here is not a good puzzle piece for the cryptocurrency market. Heading into Friday, though, Japanese markets are starting to move up, but they've already gapped down below all moving averages. That's not a good puzzle piece. Gold starting to move up today on Friday. With gold moving up, you can see we did have this wick towards this 50-day moving average. That shows that there's some fear in capital sitting in traditional markets, maybe moving into gold to end the week just in case something might happen this weekend. Gold just not necessarily doing much, though. I wouldn't say it's bearish or bullish. It's neutral, but we did see a spike up today, and that's some food for thought. And then, of course, U.S. oil actually forming new yearly highs today. When commodities are strengthening, I don't necessarily think that's the best thing for more risk on assets like the traditional markets and the cryptocurrency market. So these are some puzzle pieces that we just want to address here on the Cypress channel. Once again, we're not bullish, we're not bearish. We've been making videos on Bitcoin for the last 4 years before it even hit 20,000 US dollars, right? We started making videos on Bitcoin when it was at 4,000 US dollars. So at 55,000 US dollars, if we're saying that, okay, there's a potential we come down to 9,000 US dollars, how is that being bearish? I'm just giving you some very good technical analysis, probably the best in this market. I've watched all the analysts. I'm not saying I'm better than, but I am saying that we have the best technical analysis, in my opinion, because it's 4-dimensional. And so thank you all for tuning in to the Cypress channel today. Once again, we also have the #1 community in this market. For those not in the Discord group, the link is in the description below. Oh, look, Adonis is active right now, one of our awesome contributors in the Discord. I'm going to be going to the conference to do our, pre-meetup, and then I believe we're speaking tomorrow on the panel with Crypto, Carl the Moon, and Da Vinci. For those that are in Dubai, hopefully you got your tickets. Coin Agenda Conference, the link is in the description below. And with that, thank you all for tuning in to the Snipers channel today. Until next time, snipers.